Our polling director says that Hillary didn't win the popular vote by pretty much every standard, unless you don't, if you count Michigan and give him 0 votes. That's the only way she actually wins the popular vote. But David, this discord was still within the Democratic Party. You've got to be kind of licking your chops about it.
No, I mean, I think Matt Stoller is correct, and, oddly I agree with him that this is just politics. What they're trying to do is, she's trying to figure out how to get out of $20 million in debt. And with regard to her speech, I think she was, I think that politicians at this point in any campaign just get into almost a robot function where, she of course had to go out there and be the cheerleader and say those things because she didn't know what she was going to do, frankly.
But is this going to help her if she really wants the number 2, as many of her supporters have been trying to press Obama to put her on the ticket? Does that really help her with him?
I don't think that there's any way that she becomes the number 2. That's just not what the Democratic Party wants, frankly. I mean, of course, how would I know that? But, I'm very hopeful that she becomes the number 2 for reasons that she's very well known and disliked by conservatives and Republicans, and that'll help rally support for John McCain. But look, I pitched that over to Stoller.
I was going to say, Matt, your thoughts on Hillary as number 2? You think, is that going to happen?
I have no idea, and I don't think anybody else does except for Obama and a few key advisors. And the rest of it is just noise, information, disinformation put out by various parties who are freelancing.
Which Charlie Rangel spoke about as well, and Rangel said that that's ridiculous, and that the nominee gets to choose, and that kind of like trying to force her way on the ticket or trying to push the way on is probably, I think, counterproductive. At least that would be my thought. Obama does still have his problems. I mean, he still has had issues reaching your working class white voter, and that's something he'll need to resolve in the general. How do you think he goes about doing that, Matt?
Well, I mean, white working class voters, older voters in the Democratic Party, except for in the Appalachian states, have not said they don't like Obama. They basically like both Clinton and Obama. They just prefer Clinton over Obama in the primaries. So I don't see any evidence that that's necessarily going to translate over to the general election.
I mean, just one second there, just tatting the polling director once again. He also did took a look, and apparently when it comes to white voters, Obama is doing just as well as Al Gore did, and in fact better than Kerry and Michael Dukakis did among white voters so far. Go ahead, David. What do you think about that?
Well, just going back to your other point, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, Republicans or Democrats, it doesn't really matter, but what matters in this election are people are concerned about their Second Amendment rights, and they support a pro-life message generally. Sort of those conservative Democrats are the folks I'm talking about.
Clinging to God and guns?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what I mean. The people that support Hillary in these Democratic primaries, the people from Macomb County, which were the original Reagan Democrats, as you may recall, in Michigan. I think those people are looking to John McCain, and I think Barack Obama, if he were smart, he's going to look for someone who's much more conservative than he is to help balance out just how liberal he really is.
All right, that wraps up our coverage on the primary. Now it's on to the general election matchup between John McCain and Barack Obama. That's up next on Unconventional Wisdom. Welcome back to Unconventional Wisdom. We're joined once again by David Aul of conservative blog TechRepublican.com and liberal blogger Matt Stoller of OpenLeft.com. John McCain's campaign has not been getting the media attention or scrutiny that it deserves, but he has been trying to get in on the conversation by criticizing Obama's foreign policy and national security. Here's some of McCain's speech attacking Obama. Then let's contrast that with Barack's speech on the same night he became the presumptive nominee.
Americans ought to be concerned about the judgment of a presidential candidate who says he's ready to talk in person and without conditions with tyrants from Havana to Pyongyang, but hasn't traveled to Iraq to meet with General Petraeus and see for himself the progress he threatens to reverse.
They will come here to nominate John McCain a man who has served this country heroically. We honor the service of John McCain, and I respect his many accomplishments, even if he chooses to deny mine.
David, let's set aside the fact that Obama drew an audience about 30 times larger than McCain's that night. Why does he have to be so strident? That's been some of the criticism of him, is that he appears angry and strident when he's talking about Obama, when he's been previously talking about what a clean and good campaign, high level, it needs to be carried on as.
I mean, it's just kind of funny how you editorialized there that those were attacks. I mean, I think that those are real differences between the two candidates, and I think that those are questions that Barack Obama does need to ask, does need to answer. Why won't he go to Iraq to see the progress that's truly happening by any yardstick you want to measure it by? And I think that these are very real differences. The two have differences on health care, and that's what the American people need. And I think when you look at what John McCain needs to do, he has the luxury of knowing that he doesn't need to unify the Republican Party to mend the bridges that we talked about. It's not about a speech. We've consistently said that. Hillary Clinton has consistently said that. This is about policy decisions and the future of our country. And I think that John McCain is the leader to do that.
Matt, do you want to talk about your views on some of the policy differences between McCain and Obama?
Well, let's look at some of the policy differences. Bush wants more tax cuts for the wealthy. Last month, he said, no one has supported Bush on Iraq more than I have. He wants to keep troops in Iraq for 100 years. He's on record saying that in a widely played clip. I think the country is ready for change, and McCain offers more of the same, and Obama is change. His campaign has been about change, his policy ideas are about change, and he doesn't see the world in these stupid, cartoonish, black and white images that have served us so badly over the last 8 years.
You've got that. I guess there's also, you pointed out Iraq. I think their views towards Iran, their views towards speaking with foreign leaders. I know we had some of that discussion in the last segment. But
for instance, what are you going to do if you want to threaten Iran? What are you going to do? What are we going to threaten them with if we have 150,000 American troops in Iraq? Where is your leverage? There is no leverage. And Obama recognizes that. And McCain doesn't. And that's why McCain supported Bush on Iraq since the get-go, because he has a fundamentally flawed, short-sighted way of making decisions. And it is a little angry, I got to be honest. It's a little strident.
Well, David, there was actually more, just picking up on what Matt's saying, there was that I detected a hint of, McSame, because there's been the conversation that this is the third term of George Bush, which McCain has strongly denied.
Well, that's what the left likes to do, and I don't know if anyone else caught it, but, Stoller, when he first started talking about this, he said, Bush, when he meant to say McCain. And he said Bush has supported Bush on the war on terrorism as much as possible. And I think that's what the left would like this to be, but no one is more independent than John McCain. He's a reformer with a record of results, and I think he personally has found difficulty trying to get the Republican Party behind him because he's so much of a maverick. But that's how Americans know him best, and I think that's going to help him at the end of the day.
Well, that maverick, McCain still has problems with his own base. There was, recently on Meet the Press, you had Tom Dasher saying that McCain was looking to come over and caucus with the Democrats. He was so angry after his bitter primary battle with then candidate Bush, Governor Bush. The news of that, doesn't that hurt him among his own base, the conservatives, that he's trying to shore up for himself for the general? David first.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think, look, the Republican Party had just like the Democrats, we've all had what we've never seen before, right? Where it was a totally open primary for both sides. And I think what we're really seeing is a very well-informed audience thanks to things like the internet. You look at Ron Paul's campaign, that guy would have never had a chance 20, even 10 years ago, but now his message gets out on some of these.
Just David, I just want to get Matt, your view on that, please, real quick.